These are my solar panels. Got about 96 watts of power coming off 6 panels. Each panel's 1 amp, so that'd be 3, 4, 5, 6 amps, 1 per panel. And it runs a 12-volt battery system inside, which is completely off the grid, independent, not tied to the grid at all. It's not really enough to power your house or anything continuously, but it's more like a hobby type thing, just to play around with off-grid homes. Kind of a very simple version of an off-grid shelter. I mean, there are some components missing though. And I got the all the regulation stuff inside, the batteries, the inverter, the charge controller, all of that inside. And I'll take you in there and show it to you. This is where I keep all the equipment for my solar panels. This is the inverter, the large one. And I also have a smaller inverter here. This inverter's 5,000 watts, 10,000 peak. This one's kind of beat up, it's been through a lot. That's a 750 watt continuous inverter, 1500 peak. So the batteries, 3 12-volt deep cycle batteries. Kind of a mess out of the cables, but they're not very flexible. And those are wired up in parallel. This is my charge controller. And on this side we have the ammeter, which measures how many amps are going into the batteries. On this side we have the battery voltage. So right now you can see the batteries are almost charged. And I'm putting 4 amps into the batteries. So this is what's coming out of the panels and going into the batteries. 2 DC jacks where I can run, DC accessories like a battery charger for like an RC battery charger or whatever I wanted to plug in there. They can also be used as load testers. Push them both down, measure the voltage drop, and you can sometimes get the approximate charge level of the batteries. This switch over here chooses between the internal batteries, which would be these, or if I wanted to charge an external battery like a gel battery or so, I would do that. Now, right now I got it on bypass mode, which is the switch here. This unit has a built-in voltage regulator, so if I click that off, and you can see it when I open a circuit on the batteries, it won't go above a certain voltage. Now if I put it back in bypass mode and do that, you'll see it'll go right out. So there's a voltage regulator in there, which is very important if you're charging gel batteries. And that is adjustable on the side here. I have where you can just stick a screwdriver in this hole. I'm not going to actually adjust it because it's where I want it. But you can stick a screwdriver in there, and there's a slotted screw adjustment where you can adjust the regulation between 12 and 16. Actually, I believe it's 11 and 16. Banana plug connectors on the back. The voltage regulator has a heat sink, and they're on the transistor. And there's also a cooling fan on there, which I only run at like 10 to 15% speed because you really don't need the whole thing. Just on real hot days you'll need it. And this is what's inside. That's your circuit board, and this is the adjustment for your voltage regulator. See, there's a lot of garbage in there. The switches and actually for the bypass mode, there's 2 diodes. I mounted them like that because they do generate some heat. Those are the 2 diodes though. When you're running it through the transistor, those diodes are bypassed. You do not need them. And I got some 12-volt lights with the kit. So these guys here. And they have one of these plugs. I got this, actually it was a solar kit from Harbor Freight, but the charge controller's burned up in a week on their own. So I salvaged some of the parts out of the Harbor Freight controller and made my own. There you go. And that's the charge controller system. Not bad, you know, that just goes through a hole in the wall, and I got the extension cord outside, and I can run that wherever I want.